Hello guys, and welcome back to another cold episode. On today's episode, we are going to be talking about the KC Cup, my personal experience with it, and what we got from the meta. So, if you don't care about what I got from it, then you can skip to the timestamp, which I will link down below in the description, and then you can just skip forward to what we got from the meta, coming from the KC Cup, as well as the top 100 the top 100 global ranked deck lists submitted on to the duellinksmeta.com. So, if you want to skip forward, you can check out the timestamp down below. But if you want to know about how I did, let's hop right into that. So first and foremost, I will show you the deck that I used. I basically only used this deck, or I should say I only won with this deck, basically. I did end up using a Ritual Beast deck towards the end, but it wasn't anything great. So there's that. But Lancia is an insanely good card in the meta right now, preventing banishing from Shiranui, and from Dark Magician, and from Invokers, and like all of these different things. Just preventing banishing. It like saves your card as well. Say you go first and you set yourself your Sanctified Dark Lord and you have the Lancia in your hand. Well, guess what? Now they can't banish it with a Cosmic Cyclone. Granted, you wouldn't be able to use your own Cosmic Cyclone, but you can prevent their banishment of your Sanctified Dark Lord or something like that using your Artifact Lancia. Insanely good card. I absolutely love it. 10 out of 10. Super good tech card. Pretty standard Dark Lords. I do run Double Desire and Double Tez. Not a lot of people run 2 Tez. Most people only run the 1. I just found that a lot of times I would mill 1. And so I was like, well, I kind of need the second one just because compensation does end up milling it a lot of times. And then, like, I don't want to waste my an Amdusk on a Tez. Or, like, it's harder for me to use an Amdusk on a Tez, right? And it's better to just like have it in the deck so that I can search it out when I need it. So I did find that using 2 did end up being pretty good. It's all player preference. I also ran 2 Desires. You could run a Morning Star. You could run 1 Desire if you wanted to. You could run 1 Tez. Most of the time, though, you definitely run 3 Eggshell. You run 2 Nastin. You run an Ukobak, and you run double Amdusk. And then obviously triple Banishment, double Contact, and a Sanctified, and then you're pretty good, right? That's that. Pretty simple. I mean, there's not much else to say. You just, you play it how you normally would. I did end up doing pretty good. The first day, I got up to 1,500 or 15,000 points. I wasn't going to play too much, just because, again, I worked during this time. But I think next KC Cup, I'm really actually going to go hard, and I'm going to try and get into the top 100, because I think I can do it. I really do. And I'm going to try hard, specifically on the first day, to just, like, crank out as many games as I can. And I'll probably try and stream that as well. Anyway, so, yeah. I normally tend to have a really bad third day, but my first 2 days are normally pretty good. So what happened is, first day, did pretty good, got up to 15,000, and I was like, okay, cool, whatever, I'm going to stop. The second day, I ended up, dueling again, and got up to like 20,000 points, and I was like, okay, cool, whatever, I'm going to stop. Or like 20, I think I actually may have gotten up to 29,000 points, right? Which was super good. And I was like, okay, cool. Tomorrow, what I'll do is I'll push for 30,000 points, and then I'll stop, right? Because that's like top 2,000, that's pretty good in my eyes, right? So third day comes around, Sunday comes around, and I drop down to like 20,000 points, and I'm like, ah, frick, okay. And then I try again, and I push to 25,000 points, and then I dropped a lot. Dropped down to 9,000 points, and by that point I was just like, do you know what? I'm done. Can't play anymore. And there was still like 2 hours left of the tournament, and I was just like, you know what? I don't even care. Like, whatever. I'm not making my goal within 2 hours. Like, this, it's just not happening. I'm tilted. I'm going to bed. Like, I went to bed super upset. I just like napped. I just went to sleep, and it was fun. It was great. 10 out of 10. Would recommend. Not really, but overall, what I found was that this was very interesting, right? Because if we look at it, the top scoring, the number 1 place, Zaid King, props to Zaid King, didn't even crack 100,000. Which means, 1, this was a low scoring KC Cup. And 2, this KC Cup was also very competitive. And I feel like this meta right now is really good. So a lot of people are talking about a ban list that's coming and stuff like that. And honestly, I think Konami is going to hit things like Invoker, Dark Magician, Shiranui. All of these decks are probably going to get hit with a set of bans or nerfs or something like that. Nerfs to skills or something. With that being said, the only thing that I would want banned is Grass That's Greener. That grass looks greener, because I just don't enjoy that card in particular, right? I don't know. Just milling the top 10 cards of your deck and then, like, having graveyard plays where there's so little that actually touches the graveyard and can just, you know, mess with the graveyard. It's kind of annoying, right? Plus, I think Sealed Tombs is stupid good right now, and so, like, yeah. And as you can see, my character is Ishiju Ishtar, which was, I was using Sealed Tombs for my Ritual Beast deck. But anyway, Zaid King, props to him. Zaid King, Grucius, and Tadashi, all of you, top 3, insanely good. Super cool. And you can see Zaid King was using Dark Lords, because nothing else uses Yubel, so Zaid King, there you go. And then these two using Yami Yugi, obviously, Spell Specialist, or Sorcery Conduit there. But if we scroll down here, we can look at, I mean, I made the top 30,000, cool, whoop-de-doo. But at one point, I was actually in contention for top 2,000, which I was like, hey, that's actually better than what I had originally anticipated. I was hoping to get top 1,000, but it didn't end up happening. But, hey, it's all good. But just, like, the difference between, like, top 100 and, like, just the difference in points in, like, the top 10, right? Like, for example, the difference between 5 and 4 is 3,000 points, right? Roundabout. So, like, all of them, props, insanely good. And all of their deck lists will be over at the Card Studio in the deck lists here, coming up pretty soon. So if we go in and check out the deck lists real quick, you can see the old KC Cup, the November KC Cup is all right here, right? So you can see all of them, and you can see what cards you need and stuff like that if you want to make them as well. So there you go. Now we're going to hop quickly into duelingsmeta.com, and I will show you the meta as well as some of the top decks to kind of look out for coming up in the competitive scene. So, one second. Alright guys, so here we are on duelingsmeta.com, and if you want, you can check out the tier list that has been updated since the KC Cup, and not much has changed. The only thing that has been added is Cristrons and Dark Cavalry. We're going to talk about that in a second. Cristrons did pretty good. They're kind of like an anti-meta deck because they banish things from the graveyard. And the field, right? They can just wipe the field pretty easily with Quarion. They also put, you know, special summoned monsters into defense position to swing over pretty easily. So yeah, if you want, you can check out the Crystron deck. You know, you gotta run your Sulfonier, you gotta run Smiger, you gotta run Thistfern, stuff like that. Scrap Recycler is still really good. Citri, Rosenix. You're running the 2 Crystal Beasts, running Ruby Carbuncle. This could basically be any Crystal Beast, right? But the reason they run Carbuncle is because when it's special summoned, you can special summon as many Crystal Beast monsters as possible from your spell or trap card zone so that you can get more, like, cards onto the field, right? That's the only reason it's Carbuncle rather than something else. It's just an easier way to get cards onto the field. Then, and another thing is, you run a 30-card deck just in general because it's super good. And so, like, that immediately counters Shiranui 30-card decks, oftentimes. Then you have Rion and Citri is kind of what you base it around. You try and get two of these, you try and get, one of these guys out, if not two of them, to summon up your Amatrix or your Quarion. Quarion Gandrix. There you go. So, yeah. Crystron's pretty good. They also run Forbidden Land, so they're not affected by spell or traps. And then they also have World Legacy Clash, which World Legacy Clash is insanely good. And there's a reason it's limited, and there's a reason that Crystron, that's one of the reasons Crystron's pretty good, is that they can run this card, right? And it's still super effective. So, yeah, there you go. You can check out that. Pretty good for the KC Cup it was. So now we can go back to the tier list real quick. And then another thing is Dark Cavalry. Dark Cavalry, what we figured out was you just play Invokers with, basically speeding out your fusions using things like King of the Swamp, Hex Sealed Fusion, the Dark Hex Sealed Fusion, Beast King of the Swamps, right? Elemental Hero Blazeman, and then, running 3 Lancias, right? A lot of tech cards, stuff like that. Obviously Nalu for water as well. And then, Invocation. Basically to just quickly get out things like Cocytus, things like Dark Cavalry, and things like Purgatrio. As well as you have like Millennium Eyes Restrict. You have Kaliga as well, that are just these really good tech cards overall. So yeah. And then you're also running My Monster cards, which if you don't know, My Monster cards, what it does is if your deck has 6 or more level 4 or lower monsters with different names, you have a better chance of having a level 4 or lower monster in your starting hand. So what you do is you add, this is why you have Invoker, King of the Swamp, Blazeman, the Dark Hex Sealed Fusion, Beast King of the Swamp, and Nalu, right? That's 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, all below level 4. And basically you're guaranteed to have like 2 of them in your starting hand, which means you're most likely going to open up something like Invoker or your Blazeman, and your Blazeman or something like that, just to easily summon up a Dark Cavalry or a Cocytus or something like that to, have onto the field. Then you run a bunch of tech cards, right? Fiendish Chain and Concentrating Current are insanely good. Concentrating Current, why is this card so good? Well, because it boosts up by your defense, and Cocytus boosting up by its defense is insanely strong, as well as like any other card, right? Purgatrio, that's an additional 2,000, points. You have Kaliga, that boosts up to an insane amount as well. It boosts their attack by their defense, right? Then you have Fiendish Chain, stopping monster effects, keeping the monster on the field kind of thing. And then Fusion Reverse to summon, or to grab up your, to grab up a material from the graveyard, as well as a polymerization, right? So you can recycle your polymerizations there. Plus it's just another good, like, back row kind of bait card. So there you go. That's kind of what it was. It has high potential. It could be very good, or it could have just been like an anti-KC Cup meta deck. We'll see in a minute. But if you wanted to check out the top 100 decks from the KC Cup, the top 100 deck lists, not all of them are here, obviously, but we will be seeing at least the top 3, as well as some of the other interesting decks. You see a rewards list, the stage 1 and 2 explanation for the KC Cup and stuff like that. And then we go into the top 100 deck list. Zaid King, rank 1 global. Props to Zaid King. Way to go. Insanely cool. And you can see they also get to write things about their, decks and their experience with the KC Cup. So if you want to check it out, there you go. You just go to duelingsmeta.com, scroll down, and then it's right there at the top of the, you saw what I clicked on. Compensation Dark Lords, running 20 card deck, right? He has 1 Desire and 1 Morningstar, running double Am Dusk, only 1 Tez, right? With the Lancia and the double Cosmic Cyclone. Very similar to my deck. Instead of running double Tez, just the 1, and then instead of running the double Desire, running a Morningstar. Very simple. Very standard. Then he's also running a 22 card Sorcery Conduit, Invoker, Element Saber deck. Pretty standard here. Triple Invoker, obviously. Only double Mole Hue. Pretty interesting. Then also a Malu, or a Malo and a Nalu, sorry. To more easily get your Purgatrio and your Cocytus there. Then also running with the World Legacy Clash, which was pretty interesting. And then Wall of Disruption. You'll see that a lot. Wall of Disruption and Fiendish Chain are the two like most common trap cards in this KC Cup. A lot of people weren't respecting Wall of Disruption, and a lot of people get, a lot of decks just get destroyed by Fiendish Chain, right? Just chain a card, you chain it to an Ix-Shell effect, or a Invoker effect, or a Mole Hue effect, or something like that, and you just prevent them from even changing their battle position. They are now stuck on the field, right? So that's pretty good. Rank 2 Global was Ritual Beasts with double Petal Fin, right? Insanely good. Running my monster cards in a 20-card deck, right? My monster cards, as you saw, if you have 6 different types of level 4 or lower monsters, you're going to have a better chance of having them in your hand, right? So what does that entail? It means that you're more likely going to draw into your Elder and Canahawk opening hand, which is definitely what you want. So my monster card's insanely good if you want to run Ritual Beasts. I'll probably be covering that pretty soon as well, trying to get my monster cards so that I can get this deck, this variation of Ritual Beasts, right? Running the double Petal Fin, pretty interesting. A lot of people only run the one Petal Fin, but having 2, definitely a good idea as well. I tend to run double Rampengu, but honestly, double Petal Fin is also really good, allowing you to, sometimes even ban it or return 2 cards at a time with your Petal Fin. Pretty good. Then running the double Ritual Beast Return with the Ritual Beast Spawn. 1 Cosmic Cyclone, pretty interesting. Herald of the Abyss, obviously, for the Cocytus. And then you got the double Treacherous Trap Hole. Pretty standard there. Interestingly enough, running triple Ultipelio and only double Canahawk with the 1 Petal Fin. Pretty standard there, right? Then he also had a bunch of other like Sorcery Conduit kind of Element Saber decks. These things were everywhere. Just a bunch of different tech cards. As you can see, Drowning Mirror Force and Wall of Disruption again. Every time with the Fiendish Chain. Fiendish Chain is insane right now. So, look into that. Really good card. It's a pay-to-win card, but it's so good. It's so good, and I hate it, and I love it. Anyway. Rank 3 Global, -1, running a very interesting version of Dark Magician. Now, what is this? Why is Silent Magician in a Dark Magician deck along with Legion of Fiend Jester? Well, what this card does, we're going to talk about Legion of Fiend Jester first, is during your main phase, you contribute summon 1 spellcaster type monster in face-up attack position in addition to your normal summoner set. Also, if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add a spellcaster type monster from your hand or graveyard to your deck, to your hand, right? From your deck or graveyard to your hand. I don't know why I said it like that. Anyway, so what that means is you can grab up your Dark Magician more easily, which allows you to go into Magician Navigation more easily, or just to summon it up to activate your Dark Magical Circle more easily, right? Really good. I think it's also kind of more of like an anti-meta deck, right? Because it's just an easier way to search up your Dark Magician to activate your Dark Magical Circle kind of thing. Then we also have Silent Magician. Silent Magician, what this card does is you tribute a face-up spellcaster type monster, or just a spellcaster type monster, sorry, in order to special summon this card. Gains 500 attack for each card in your hand, and then once per turn, during either player's turn, if a spell card is activated, you can negate the activation. And then if this card is destroyed by battle, or if this card in its owner's control is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, if this card is destroyed in any way, even if it's banished, if it's destroyed, you can special summon a Silent Magician monster from your hand or deck, except Silent Magician, right? Well, you'd play the level 8, 3500 beater. unaffected by spell cards. Pretty freaking good, right? Just play it, boom. That's how you get over Cocytus. That's how you get over Purgatrio. That's a great way to just kind of get over things, right? Then with the Double Treacherous and the Magician Navigation, pretty freaking good. And then again, more Element Sabers. Running Wall of Disruption, running Treacherous, stuff like that, right? Element Saber, insanely good. Oddly enough, oftentimes only running the 2 Invokers, and also running 2 Molehues, which is pretty interesting. So if you don't have all 3, that's okay. You could still run it with just the 2. So keep that in mind. If you want Element Sabers, if you want to play Element Sabers, you want to clap some fools, play this deck. Look at it. Pretty good. It's so good. Everyone was playing it, right? Now, I remember Zade King being like, well, I tried out the Element Sabers and it just didn't work, so I went back to Dark Lords. So, there you go. Now we're going to drop down to rank 7, Bobby. Rank 7, running Cyber-style Invoker, freaking anti-meta deck. Whatever the frick this is. Cyber Dragons. I had a brain fart there. Running only 6 monsters in his entire hand. In his entire deck. 6 monsters. Main deck, Alistair, triple, and triple core. That's it. Running a Necro Valley as well, just to say screw you even more, with the triple Cybernetic Fusion support, Cosmic Cyclone, and the triple Cyberload Fusion, with only 1 Cybernetic Overflow. Pretty interesting. Then you got the double Treacherous Trap Hole and 1 Invocation. Pretty interesting deck if you want to check that out. Again, it's right there. And then running, a pretty standard, what is this? Dark Magician deck and a pretty standard Blackwing deck, right? A lot of people also using Night Beam, and I think this is actually a 25 card deck. 25, yeah. Yeah, I think it is. I think this is a 26 card Blackwing deck. Never mind, it's not very standard. Running triple Bora, triple Zephyr, triple Gale, triple Chris, and the Orochi and the Pinaki, along with triple Smoon, obviously. Running Sealed Tombs, pretty interesting. There you go. Then, of course, also running Night Beam, insanely good with the 1 Treacherous that they can have. Red Y, rank 8, pretty good here. Another kind of weird, interesting deck that people were running was the Silent Magician, Legion of Fiend, Jester, Dark Magician deck, and then a pretty standard Blackwing deck. Blackwings also did pretty good. So, there you go. Here we go. We have our first Shiranui deck, running Spell Specialist, 30-card deck, with Anti-Magic Arrows and Hey Trunade. Insane. Mistaken Arrest, Offerings of the Doomed, and then obviously that grass looks greener. Then we have, pretty standard deck. Triple Gozuki, triple Solitaire, triple Squire, triple Samurai, triple Spirit Master. Then the 1 Spectral Sword Shade and the Spectral Sword. Running 2 of them. And then also running Needlebug Nest and your Burgeoning Whirlflame. So a lot of people are deciding to take out the tech cards like Paleozoic Canadia and Floodgate in turn for the Needlebug Nest in case they are going up against something that will prevent the mill, right? With their 30-card, that grass looks greener, right? Or that will give them a bad mill with that, right? So a lot of people also running Needlebug Nest. I also saw a lot of people running a Trap Layer version of this deck. Then again, more Element Sabers, pretty standard. Rank 10, Masa, double Element Sabers. Fiendish Chain is insane, and I hate it, and it's really good. Run it, if you can. And then pretty standard overall. A little bit more cards over here, just because probably Elements, or Shiranui were more of an issue, or he thought they were going to be more of an issue. Then again, Wall of Disruption. Insanely good. I lost several times to a Wall of Disruption. So there you go. Wall of Disruption. If people aren't expecting it, it's really good. So be aware of Wall of Disruption. Since Ancient Gears aren't very good right now, a lot of people are running Wall of Disruption to kind of just catch people in the battle phase. We have another interesting deck at rank 11 with a Alistair the Invoker with Purgatrio running Shiranui, Sealed Tombs, 25 card shenaniganry. And then again, this time just with Lancia as a tech card instead. So there you go. Yeah, that's basically all that I'm going to just cover. I'm going to quickly just go through and kind of show you guys some of the rest of these decks. Oops. So I'll kind of zoom out more easily, be able to see them. So here we go. Destiny Draw Dark Lords, pretty cool. You still run Destiny Draw, stuff like that. A lot of Ritual Beasts, more Dark Lords at the top, more Element Sabers. Shiranui, here we go. Shiranui, Element Sabers, and Dark Lords seem to kind of be like the meta and what was really good, doing good. Bad Aim, pretty interesting in an Element Saber deck. Destroy a card other than the one that activated an effect. Pretty cool. Lot of Shiranui. 21 card Shiranui deck. Only one Gazuki. There you go. You only need the one Gazuki. Right? Back row is insanely good. That's why it's so good. That's why it's so good, guys. Anyway. Another Blackwing deck. Dark Magician, Element Sabers. Insanely good. Yeah. Pretty standard so far. Jinzo. Superbia. Double Ukobak. Rather interesting. Pretty standard. Dark Magicians. Element Sabers. Coolio. Here's a 30 card version and a 20 card version of Shiranui. Running Spell Specialist and Sealed Tombs. Sealed Tombs are insanely good. Spell Specialist, once again. 30 card Shiranui. Sealed Tombs with a 30 card Shiranui deck. But guess what? There's no Needlebug Nest. There's no Grass That's Greener. How did this work? Discard. Lancia. Back Row. Floodgate. Fiendish Chain. Lance. Wall of Disruption. Bad Aim. All of these insanely good cards. There you go. Sorcery Conduit. Once again, Element Sabers. Pretty standard there. We have Blackwings. Pretty good. 21 card deck. Running that extra Haterune just in case. Just for that extra one turn kill. Right? Double Dark Magician, right? Running a standard one. Actually with a different tech card with Dark World Dealings. Pretty interesting. He actually has a video. So if you want to check that out, there you go. Check it out on this page. Pretty cool. Ritual Beasts. 2 of them. Pretty good. Running a Necro Valley. 25 card deck. Pretty interesting. Again, Dark Lords, Double Tez. Only one Amdusk. We have a hero deck with Stratos, triple Solid Soldier. Pretty good. Triple Mask Change. Nice. Running Sealed Tombs. Coolio. Baggy Sleeves, Thunder Dragons. 28 card deck it looks like. Not quite 20, or not quite the 30 card deck, but there you go. There's the Ritual, or the Thunder Dragons. Cyber Dragons. A lot of people were expecting Cyber Dragons to do a bit better. They didn't. They didn't top nearly as much as I think people were expecting. So there you go. Then we have some more Dark Lords and some more Element Sabers. So far, here we go. Rank 97, close to the bottom. More Blackwings. Then we have a Crystron deck in the top 100. This is why Crystrons were kind of added to the tier list here. Pretty good anti-meta deck. You can Offerings of the Doomed, pop a card on the field. Right? Crystron Impact can prevent some of the destruction and stuff like that. So there you go. And then 100, Chris, props to you. You made it into the top 100 running Compensation Dark Lords and Sealed Tomb Dark Magician. There you go. That's all the decks. That's all we're going to talk about. Now, if you have anything else that you want to see, you check it out on duellinksmeta.com. Duellinksmeta.com, there you go. I will link it in the description down below. And also, be sure to check out Duel Links Meta himself, also known as Decade, on YouTube and Twitch. He is the creator of the website, and I mean, he's got an insanely good community. So if you're really interested in being top tier competitive, go check him out as well. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy, a like is very much so appreciated. And if you want to see more content like this, just be sure to subscribe. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye.